How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we're with another previously in DBSCG video today, going over the week's news all in one juicy video. And today we have more spoilers for set 21. It's got a load more of those, and we finished blue and we've gone on to green, and I know a lot of people were hyped for green because apparently someone had a word with the designers to help them tell them to just stop nerfing it, and hopefully we get to see some good stuff for green. And also we have the webcam locals results as well, because we've been getting 20 people plus for the last few, which has been pretty great. And we'll go over what the results were for that as well. So before we do get in the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out greatly, because we're on our way to 1,000 subs and we're trying to get there before the end of the year. And as well, if you want to get notifications when my videos do drop, go ahead and click the notification bell and you'll get alerts. You can go and watch them straight away, or be alerted to at least that the video is there. So, with that out of the way, let's have a look and see what we've got this week news-wise. So, start off with the rest of blue. We've got, I think it's just just a little bit of blue. We've got like trickling over from the Oob deck, and not a Oob deck just started off being quite interesting, but then it just fizzled after we saw what the end result is and what it all had. We still have TPs though, so the TPs could make some of these decks better than they actually are, or make them even stronger, or just not do anything, because sometimes we do get legacy support into TPs more than we get support for the actual decks. So we'll see that when it comes to a point, because I think we're getting close to the end of this set, because after the green reveals, which are on the second half from today, we should have another 3 days of green reveals to finish off the green, and then be moving on to I think the last two secret rares, the SPRs for blue and green, and also the TPs, and maybe whatever cards filter out that are black or multicolor and stuff like that. Because there is the chance there could be a black deck in this, because there is 15 cards other than between the end of yellow and beginning of the first secret rare, being the Shen one we've seen. But we could just not get anything and get some like staple black cards, maybe to support some older stuff, or some other decks, like maybe encumber support and stuff like that. Or we could just get multicolors as well, or we could actually get a deck. We just need to wait and see. But with these blue cards, we've got some more ones. So we have SS3 Son Goku, Warrior Savior, Hercule Earth Champion, and a Skillless Pan. So the SS3 Goku, this is a 3-drop 20k with unique power. Blocker. Tools, first one being limit 1, where if your leader is a blue Oob, when one of your blue Oob cards with entry cost of 6 or more is removed from your battler by a skill, play this card from your hand. So that's a way to get out, like, not the greatest, but there we go. And also once per turn, when this card activates blockers, which is called active mode. So that could be a pretty good defensive one for Cube, I would say, but yeah, not sure outside of that. Then we got Hercule, Earth's Champion. This is a 2-cost 1k with a counterplay, play this card, and as I've seen someone already do on the main Dragon Ball group, the main Dragon Ball community group, is that yeah, if you activate a counterplay, it's not free. You still have to pay the 2 energy for the cost of the card, so be wary of that, because I know there has been like so many silly questions about do I have to pay the cost, because the cost isn't shown in the counterplay. But yeah, if you're paying a counterplay like this, you have to pay the actual cost of the card up there in the little dragon radar, being 2 and 2 specified blue. And it's also limit 1 if your leader is a blue Oob. When this card is played, draw 2 cards. So yeah, just tap 2 to draw 2. Yeah, and then we got Pan being the skillless. Yeah, just 1 cost 10k skillless, so nothing more to say about that. Then we go on to some of the Oob cards for the Oob deck. So we've got Oob Intercepting Kamehameha, Oob Warrior Left on Earth, and then Oob Standing Up to a Threat. So the last one is just a super combo for blue, being just a standard 1 life at 4 or less. When you're using a combo, draw 1 card and an Oob card. Then we have the other 2 here, being the ones that go Union Absorb to go into the higher up boos. So we've got Oob Intercepting Kamehameha. This is he's a 4-cost 20k, where the other one is a 3-cost 15k. And his Union Absorb, I think, is not exactly the same, but similar. They both go up into another Oob, but they go into different ones. Just similar how to with the yellow Piccolo from set 17. Each of them, they had one as a cantrip, one as a searcher, and then they both had a Union Absorb skill that went to different targets. And same with this, they're both limit 1. And for the 4-drop, it's if your leader is a blue oob, your opponent has 5 or more Z energy, so your opponent has to have a lot of Z energy, which you can kind of do quite well in this deck. And you place one blue Mr. Boo from your drop under this card. That's the cost. Play up to one blue oob with an entry cost of 8 and 30k power from your deck on top of this card in active mode, and shuffle your deck. So, unfortunately, it's the power restriction means you can't play out the old what's it called? The old it was the second theme set, so theme booster 2. Uben Goku Secret Rare. You can't play it on top of it because it's got that limit of the power. If it didn't have the limit of power and it's 8-drop, you could play that, which I wouldn't be too bad in this deck. Like, it has a very good Secret Rare if you can get out cheap, and this still requires you to have two, at least pay 2 energy by the activate main, because the activate main is limit 1 for 2 blue. If your leader is a blue oob, play this card from your hand, and yeah, that wouldn't be too power. It'd be pretty good for what looks like a mediocre deck, but yeah, Bandai just don't like old stuff being able to be played quite well in some of these decks. Then you got Oob Warrior Left on Earth. His Union Absorb is limit 1 if your leader is a blue Oob. Your opponent has 5 or more CNG and you place one Blue Mr. Boo from your drop under this card as the cost, so similar cost. And in this one is you play up to one blue Oob with entry cost of 6 from your deck on top of this card in active mode to shuffle your deck. Because it's from your deck and not from your hand, you once again you can't play the old secret rare on top of this because it's only reduced in your hand to go down to I think it's 6 cost or something like that. So neither of these can play out the old secret rare, which is a real shame. But then yeah, I'm not sure if it would be too strong, getting it out a lot cheaper, or it would just be okay. But it's got an auto as well, which when this card attacks, you use it to one mono blue card with 5k combo power from your drop in a combo with the skills to get for the turn. So you get a free combo when you swing from your drop. And its a way to play is activate main for limit 1 for 1 blue. If your leader is a blue oob and you have 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So this is less costly, but needs to be restricted to you having 2 or more energy. And the other one is just, once you've got 2 to play, you can play it out, as long as your leader's oob. So not amazing, but still, there's some cards for Oob. Then we have the 2 SRs for the Oob deck. These are the last 2 blue reveals. So you got Oob Body Resistance and Oob Focus Full Strength Blow. So these are both the targets for you can get out from the 2 unions or ones. So the first one, Oob Body Resistance, has a permanent where if it's your turn and this card is under a leader, and the leader on top of this card gets if it's your turn and this card is under a leader, the leader on top of this card gets minus 5k power, and this card can't remove from the leader area by a skill other than this card's skill. So if it's your turn, it's under your leader's minus 5k, and it can't remove from your leader by any way apart from itself. And it's also limit 1 when this card is played from your deck or hand. Add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. It's optional what how much life you take. You can take up to 1 or 0. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and add it to his own CNG, so removal, put it into the CNG, which is not too bad, and place this card from the battle area under your opponent's leader, at the end of the turn. So you place it under your opponent's leader at the end of under the turn, then play this card from under your opponent's leader at the start of your main phase. That just seems weird. So when you play it, you add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. Put to the ZNG one of the battle cards, and then put it under your opponent's leader at the end of your turn, so it gets that minus 5k power to their leader, and then you get to play it from under your opponent's leader at the start of your main phase. It comes out from your opponent's leader, but then it doesn't trigger again because it's played from the leader, not from the hand or deck. So that's interesting. And then it's got an active main to play it cheap for limit 1 for 1 blue. If your leader is a mono blue Earthling or Margin, and your opponent has 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So, very easy way to play out from your hand for 1 energy. And yeah, it's just so this is so really worthy to and it's just difficult to I understand what the aim of that card is, but yeah, it's a weird one, but it does seem pretty cool. And you got Oob, Focus Full Strength Blow. This is 8 cost, 30k, Deflect, Double Strike. A permanent where you reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3 for each card in your opponent's Z energy. So your opponent's got 2 Z energy. This is the 2 cost. So that's pretty cool. And you got the first auto, limit 1. If your leader is mono blue and your opponent has 3 or more energy, when this card is played, draw 1 card. Then choose up to a total of 3 battle cards in your opponent's battle area or drop and add them to your own Z energy. So that's quite cool. Just checking stuff to your opponent's Z energy, but then there's no real payoff. Like you do, it's just essentially a cantrip where you just come down, draw, replace it in your hand, and then chuck stuff to your opponent's Z energy. This is great to clear up the board where your opponent's got 3 battle cards. Just chuck them off the board, put in the Z energy. So that's quite nice because in the Z energy, what you have got that then use for using it to on their Z battle card or the player Z stuff in the Z deck. You then ramping them for free. So it's easy to do them, but then you're still clearing the board, which is quite nice. Then you got the Ever Auto once per turn. If you and your opponent have a total of 7 or more Z energy, so combined, when your opponent activates a counter, they add 1 card from their hand to its owner's Z energy. So making them ramp like hand control, but from the hand to the Z energy, which is odd. It's an interesting one, but it doesn't seem to be too great from like the bits it's got for the deck. It doesn't seem to be a huge big payoff from it looks like the payoff for this deck is only in the form of the Z lead, which is not fantastic because I don't think that even then with that effect you need to give them 10 Z energy, and I have to tell, like it does seem interesting, but so far like the look of it without actually seeing it in practice does seem very odd. But that is Rizzle Blue. Then we go on to green, the one most people are excited for. And we start off with Cell for the first slot we see. So we start off with the Cell lead. And the interesting one about this one is we got Cell from when he gets into the spaceship to come back in his little cocoon, he has to like de-evolve himself. Like regress himself back into a cocoon to then hatch and then come out as base Cell. And also it's based from the saga part of the saga when they have the issues in Gingertown, when he just absorbs everybody there before going on to find the androids and then absorb them. So a nice little bit of flavour there. So on the first side we got Cell. Also, when this card is placed in your leader area, play up to 1 Gingertown from your deck in your opponent's battle area. So you get to play this, and the nice thing about this is Gingertown is not a fill card, so your opponent's not going to be get rid of it by just playing their own fill card or being irrelevant with fill card strategies. It's just like similar to Turtles, it's like just extra card that's kept in your opponent's battle area. And leader is 5k on the front side, but then it's activate main, switch this card to rest mode, and place 1 green android from your hand at the bottom of your deck, then draw 2 cards. So you do have to reveal that it is a green android you put in back, not just in case you put back any card. And that's nice, you get to put bottom deck cards back into your deck to then draw 2. That's quite cool. And then Awaken is quite odd, where it's when your life's at 5 or less, or there's a green cell with energy cost of 3 in play. You get to play up to 1 Android 17 and 1 Android 18, both green with energy cost of 2, from your deck to your opponent's battle area, and then shuffle your deck. Then add cards from your life to your hand so you have 5 life left. So if you do the alternative awakening by playing the 3-drop cell, you get to take yourself down to 5 anyway and play those out. And then if you get a 5 or less life, you get to play those out. So no drawing, no untapping, but then we'll see what those androids do when you play them, because you play them from your deck to your opponent's battle area. So you give your opponent cards, which we'll see just what they do and what some of the other cards do. So then when you flip over, you're now Cell, the greatest threat to mankind. And you now have a permanent where unless there are 1 or more cards of both Android 17 and 18, both green with energy cost of 2 under this card, you can't activate Z-Awaken. So you need to get those androids you're giving your opponent under your lead to then build a Z-Awaken, otherwise you just can't. So that seems a bit like a big neg. And then it's got 2 autos. First one, once per turn. When you use one of your opponent's battle cards in a combo, this card gets 5k power until the end of your opponent's turn. And then you got the Ever Auto. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, which costs a 3 or less from your drop or your opponent's battle area, and then place it under this card. So yeah, Panda's got to fix the wording on this, because this seems to be like a set that's going to give set 19 a run for its for the most cards that need an errata on day 1, because the translation on some of these cards is just terrible. Like, how do you combo Well, how do you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with entry cost of 3 or less from your own drop? You can't have your opponent's battle cards in your drop. So yeah, that's really weird wording. It probably will be fixed with errata when it was all finished and we get the list update as well. Because that's what I think most people are looking forward to. What's actually going to change from this, which hopefully we find soon enough in the next week or two. We should find that. And yeah, so you're 5k lead from Mozo, 10k lead, and it doesn't seem great so far. But then you have Ginger Town. This has a permanent where if it's your opponent's leader, where if your opponent's leader is a green cell, and this card is in your battle area, your Earthling tokens can't attack, and you can't use your Earthling tokens or green Android 17 and 18 cards with entry cost of 2 in a combo. So your opponent can still attack you with the Android 17 and 18 cards you give them, but it prevents them from using any Android 17 or Android 18 cards with an entry cost of 2 in a combo. So that's pretty cool. So you give them the cards, but they can't combo off those cards or get rid of them from your battle area. They can attack you with them, that's about it. And then we have the auto. If it's your opponent's turn and this card is in your battle area, that's the cost. When your opponent plays a mono green cell from their hand, you play 2 Earthling tokens, which have 1k power, no combo cost, no combo power, from your battle area, and your opponent, from your battle area, I think it's supposed to be to your battle area, I don't know exactly what it's supposed to say, and your opponent can activate extras with a counter skill for duration in the game. So having this, and as soon as you play any cell, you essentially lock your in this deck. You give your opponent 2 Earthling tokens, and then you cannot play any extra cards with counter skill. You still activate battle card counter skills, but we'd have to see what good ones we eventually get. So you still have things like the Android 17 negate. You still have the Majin Buu one that's similar to Topo. So you have those, but you don't have any extra card counters. No, that means no counter play extra cards, no counter attack extra cards, no counter extra cards. That, well, green doesn't have those, but you lose all that because of this card. So far not looking interesting. And then we have the Z lead. So Cell gets 3 Z leads because he has all these different forms he goes through. And yeah. So these would be a lot better, but the fact that you cannot Z-Awaken on a Z leader just makes it so this just seems less hyped than it could have been on reveal. Because we've got the first one you go into, which is Cell, waiting impatiently, is a Z lead, that's 15k, requires 1 Z energy, and to awaken you need to pay 1 green and your leader be a green cell with original power of 1k. So far it's only this leader. Then he's also got Z stack, so you can Z stack underneath it. 2 green cell leaders, so the other 2. And now your autos are now you're 15k Z leader, and you can do it at any life. You have your first auto being when this card attacks for 1, basic attack most leaders have. And then you got the second auto, which is if your life is at 3 or less, and you play 1 Android 18 with entry cost of 2 from under this card into your opponent's battle area. When you take damage from an opponent's attack, place up to 1 cell about to explode from under this card on top of this card. So you get that basically. So if you're 3 or less life, and you get to play an Android 18 from when Android 18 you have under your leader into your opponent's battle area, and then you basically go into the next Z lead, being Cell about to explode. This is a 10k Z lead that has 3 Z energy requirement, and the Z-Awaken is just if your life is at 1 on top of any green cell. It's got a permanent where this card can attack, and the other permanent where if there is a cell perfect resurrection, which is the 3rd Z leader, under this card and your life becomes 0, instead of losing the game, you choose all of your opponent's battle cards and unisons other than Earthling tokens, place them in the drop, and then add the top 2 cards of your deck to your life, then place 1 cell perfect resurrection from under this card on top of this card, so you get basically go into the 3rd one after that. And so it's just any way your life becomes 0, either being taking damage or you taking your own life. Where you have the Z lead, and even if you don't get killed and put the 0 and trigger this on your opponent's turn, at the beginning of your turn the auto on it triggers, which at the beginning of your turn you add all cards from your life to your hand. So then you add your life to your hand, get on 0, and this triggers to go into your new Z lead and put 2 more cards back in your life. And then you have, Cell Perfect Resurrection, probably a card that could be used with the old Expert deck Cell, because is a 20k base Z lead that requires 3 Z energy, and is a Z-Awaken is just for 2 green if your life's at 3 or less on top of green Cell. And this one, he has an auto. When this card is placed in your leader area, this card gets 5k power for the turn, so it gives you a bit of a buff, which is nice offensively and defensively. And the other auto is when this card attacks, draw 1 card, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So nice draw, swing, draw, KO something. Any battle card. And now you have this cool little activate battle, which is once per turn, activate the activate battle skill on 1 green extra with both Cell and Kamehameha in its card name without paying its energy cost. Now we do get a new one in this set, which you'll see in a bit, and you also have the old one for set 9 as well, which is going to be a cool one. And we've already had confirmation from Flashbinder that because you're activating the activate battle skill on the old set 9 one, you do get the trigger the autos while you're activating the card. So you get the activate battle and then the auto triggering as well. So that's pretty nice. So yeah, if you could Z-Awaken on a top of Z lead, this would be pretty cool because you could go into Cell. You can basically just go down when you get close to when you get yourself down to 1 life. You Z-Awaken the Cell about to explode, take the damage, and then trigger that to go into your Cell Perfect Resurrection. Well, after going to Cell waiting, go into the first one, Cell waiting impatiently. Then be able to bring out the Cell waiting to explode. After that, if you're about to lose, you go into the Cell Perfect Resurrection, go into this one, put 2 back in your life. And then if you can get yourself down to 1 easily, you can then put yourself down to 1 and then Z-Awaken again, Cell back explode, never copy on top to then take the hit, go back at the 2, go back into the one that's already under it, the Cell Perfect Resurrection. But you can't do that because you can't Z-Awaken on top of Z leader. So my hype for this when I first saw that potential just died as when I got shown that part of the rulebook. Green. Then we got some favorite cards. So we got another Z card for Cell as well, being Cell Greedy Absorption, a 1 cost 5k that requires 2 Z energy. It's got a permanent where if this card is in a Z deck, you may play it without paying the Z energy cost by switching 2 of your opponent's Earthling tokens to rest mode instead. And the other effects on there are auto and activate main build limit 1. And the auto is when this card attacks, use up to 1 of your opponent's Earthling cards with energy cost of 1 or 1 Earthling token in a combo. In your combo area, if you do, this card gets 5k power until the end of your opponent's turn. And in the activate main, limit 1 if your leader is a green Cell and you choose 2 or more of your opponent's Earthling cards with an energy cost of 1 or Earthling tokens, remove them from the game, and this card gets 10k power for the turn. So that's that Z battle card for the deck. I guess that's all right. And then you've got the 2 androids that you could be playing off your leader's awakening. So you've got Android 17 Encroaching Hand of Evil and Android 18 Encroaching Hand of Evil. So they both have deflect, both 2 cost, both 5k, and 0 cost 5k combo power. So if you got any in your deck, you got fair enough to use. And the nice thing about the lead is that if you open with these, you put them back to the bottom of your deck, the draw 2, so that way they're still in your deck to play off your Awaken. And they both have effects where if your opponent's leader is green Cells the cost, they have different effects. So Android 17 makes it so your opponent discards 1 from their hand. So if your opponent's leaders, when you play it to your opponent's battle area, because your leader is a green Cell, you make them discard 1. And Android 18 is when you play it to your opponent's battle area, because your leader is now green, you get the draw. It makes you draw because you're the opponent of the card. You're the opponent when you play in your opponent's battle area. So you get the draw off. You get a draw and make your opponent discard on Awakening, and then when you go into the first Z leader, you get to play out this entry 18 from under your Z lead, and then get a draw as well from that, which is pretty cool. Then we've got some 1-drops from the decks. We got 2 Cells, like when it's in his being the Searcher and Cantrip for the deck, and also be the first parts of Cell. And then we get the first time ever being the Spy Robot, the little one that collects cells to make Cell. So we got Cell Chrysalis Form being the Cantrip when it's played, draw 1. And then we got Cell Birth of Omen being the Searcher, being when this card is played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add to 1 green Cell with energy cost of 5 or less to your hand and shuffle your deck. And they both have a auto as well, which I think is similar, which is limit 1 for 1 green if your leader is a green Cell Z leader. And you remove one of your opponent's Earthling tokens from the game. When this card is used in a combo, play up to one cell with energy cost of 3 and 10k power from your deck and shuffle your deck. So once you're a cell Z lead, you get to play out this a cell from your deck by comboing this and paying 1 green. I don't know if it's worth, like, it seems a bit costly, but that's how green is. We're paying that 1 green when there's not much energy resource management in green, and you get no untap or anything from the Awaken. Then you got Spyrobot collecting cells, one cost with 1 power. Activate main limit 1 if your leader is a green cell and you choose 1 keyword skill on 1 battle card with entry cost of 4 or less in your opponent's battle area or drop. Choose up to one of your green cell cards with entry cost of 3 or less, and that card gains the keyword skill you chose. You chose with this skill cost for the turn. So essentially, you can give one of your cells that 4 or less, 3 or less, a skill for one of your opponent's cards, battle cards in your board or drop. Pretty weird and seems like a waste of energy, but yeah, there's got to be filler for some of it, some of these decks. Then you got the 3-drop cells you play. They're all 3 cost and 1k. You got one that has no keyword skills. Yeah, you have Cell, Saiyan Absorption, having no keyword skills. Cell Namekian Absorption, having Deflect, and Cell Preparing a Plan, having Barrier. So the first one, also when this card attacks, use up to one of your opponent's Earthling cards with entry cost of 1 or 1 Earthling token in your combo area. If you do, this card gets 10k power until the end of your opponent's turn, so it makes it 20k defensively if you do that. And you can play it out cheaper by using the activate main limit 1 for 1 green. If you choose one of your opponent's Earthling tokens, switch to rest mode, play this card from your hand. So you get the switch Earthling token to rest mode to play this card from your hand. And in the activate main once per turn, if this card's power is 2000 more, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with entry cost of 5 or less and KO it. So you get that free removal there, which is pretty nice. Then you got Cell Namekian Absorption. It has a permanent where if this card's power is 15k or more, it can't be KO'd once per turn. So still can be warped, bounced, sent to the graves, fly, just can't be KO'd, which is not the most common, well, the most common form of removal, and it counts KOings by skills or even by battle as well. And it's also limit 1. When this card attacks, use it to one of your opponent's Earthling cards with entry cost of 1 or 1 Earthling token in a combo with your combo area. If you do, this card gets 5k power until the end of your opponent's turn, so gains 5k instead of 10k like the other one for the same kind of skill, but limit 1. Then you activate main is how you play it out by limit 1 for 1 yellow, for 1 green. Choose it to one of your opponent's Earthling tokens, switch to the rest mode, play this card from your hand. So exactly the same way to play the other one. Then you have the one that has barrier, actually has some protection. And this one, it has a permanent where you add one combo cost and energy cost to your opponent's Android 17 and 18, both green with an original energy cost of 2, and you may use them in your opponent's battle area when using a battle cards with the successor skill of a cell card in your hand. So it won't work with the Super 17 9-drop or anything like that. It only works with cards that are just cell, not cells that are just cell successor. And then you got the activate main limit 1 for 1 green. If your leader is a green cell with a power of 15k or more, play this card from your hand. Play up to 1 Android 17 and 1 Android 18, both green with energy cost of cost 2 or less, from your deck or you drop onto your opponent's battle area with a skill scared and shuffle your deck if you look through it. So you get play this card from your hand, and then play out one of those Android 17 and 18 to your opponent's board, but they can attack, they can't combo with them. And then the combo cost and energy cost of them in their opponent's battle area is increased because they're permanent, and they have no skills as well, so you get no draw, no discard or anything like that. But you get enough for a 9 cost of cards, being this and those 2 on your opponent's board, to be in a successor, which does seem quite interesting. Because you still have the 9-drop cell from set 9, that's the successor target, but I think that requires 4 energy. So either you're waiting your turn after and hoping it all survives, or you're doing it on turn 5 together if you've got the yellow energy as well. So there's that. Then we've got the last of the cell cards being Cell Giving into Despair, a counter-attack battle card for the deck. We got the SR being Cell Pursuit of Despair, and then we've got the ever extra card that you can play using the third Cell Z Leaders effect being Cell's Full Power Kamehameha. So Cell given into despair is a 4 cost 15k with a counter attack limit 1. Negate the attack player's card, and it's not played by paying 4 because you got permanent. If your leader is green Cell Z leader, you may activate this counter skill from your hand in your card in your hand without paying any energy cost by removing 2 of your opponent's Earthling tokens from the game instead. So that's the way to do it. And then you got the altar. When this card is KO'd, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 5 or less and KO it. So I misread this on originally, thinking it can't come in and it pops like a 5 or less. But notice only when it's KO'd itself, you get to pop on your opponent's 5 cost or less and KO it. So not amazing, but still being a free negate is quite cool. Then you got Cell, Pursuit of Despair. So this is just a downgraded Fated Rivals this is just a weaker Fated Rivals that just works more because it's a Cell, so you can play it technically with the Green Freezer, because Green Freezer can't play Fated Rivals. You kind of got this as an alternative, almost. Just doesn't deal with battle cards, it just deals with unisons. So it's a 6 cost 30k, has double strike, but it doesn't have barrier, unlike Fated Rivals does. And then when this card is played from your hand, play up to 2 Cell Junior tokens. They have 10k power, 0 combo cost, 5k combo power, and those cards get 5k power for the turn. So you get to give the tokens an extra 5k power. So you get the swing with a 30k double and 2 15k singles. And then you got the activate main limit 1 for 2 green. If your leader is green and your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand. So basically same thing as Fated Rivals, apart from you also have to bottom deck a green Namekian Earthling or Saiyan from your Z energy to the bottom of your deck. So this one can recycle super combos like Fated Rivals. And then you've got the activate main. If you or your opponent removes 1 token with combo power from the game, remove 2 markers from your opponent's unison. So remove the unisons, then remove a token, then take 2 markers off of opponent's unison. So you can technically take 4 markers off a unison with this as well, which is alright. But then unisons aren't that much of a aren't that strong, as strong as they used to be, given the amount of resource management that people have been going more to 3 cost of more unisons to help deal with avoid black smoke, and then black smoke deals with all the rest that are less. And then we have Cell's full power combat power. So this is a 1 cost activate battle. If your leader is a green Cell, Z leader, you draw 1 card and choose 1 of 3 effects. You either get to choose up to 1 of your green Cell cards and give it 15k power for the battle. So I draw 1 15k for free with the third Z leader. Or you get to choose up to 1 keyword skill on 1 of your opponent's battle cards and negate that skill for the turn. So taking skills off of cards, which is cool. So even barrier doesn't protect that because you're not targeting the card, you're targeting the skill instead. And then if it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So removal during your turn. So it's not too bad. And it is nice that you can use it as a way for the Cell deck to manage keyword skills, like taking off things like strike skills when your opponent's trying to go all in with a strike skill is quite cool. Like going over a triple or double strike. So you can make it more manageable to not die and trigger the first Z lead to go into the second, to go into the third. So that is all for the Cell. Then we have some stuff from Gohan. We got some Gohan stuff today because he is the Ever Leader, and it looks quite cool. It looks quite interesting, but then the wording is very, very bad. So we got Gohan, who then flips over to SS on Gohan, the results of fatherly training, and he has a field card to go with being the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. First time I think we've got the Hyperbolic Time Chamber in the game. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But the leader plays it when he starts a game. So when this card is placed in your leader area, you get to activate up to 1 Hyperbolic Time Chamber from your deck. So that's cool. And it is a nice fills card because it at least has barrier on the get-go. So having barrier is a good plus. Don't know why Bandai don't give barrier to most fill cards that start in play, so they've got that protection. But hey ho, Bandai just don't seem to understand what balance is. But it's got a really nice altar. When this card attacks, you look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 green Saiyan to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So you get to search for any green Saiyan, no cost limit or anything when you swing. And your Z-Awaken is when your life's at 4 or less, or if you have a SS Son Goku, showing the results of training in play. You get to draw one, untap one, and take your life down to 6 to flip over. So you've got an alternative awakening as well as going down to 4, which is cool. And you got the SS Son Gohan, the results of fatherly training. He's got it's a 15k and he's got 2 autos. First, they're both once per turn, and the first one is place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck to cost. When you use a card in the combo, draw 2 cards, and that's either player's turn. So on your turn, when you use a card in the combo, you bottom deck a card to draw 2. So you're doing that nice little bit of filtering. And on your opponent's turn as well, combo, you get the bottom deck something to draw 2 as well. So you're drawing a card on both players' turn, which is very, very good. Then you got the Ever also being once per turn. When one of your mono green Son Gohan Shadow battle cards attacks, use up to 1 mono green card with 5k combo power from your drop in a combo with its skills to get for the turn. So you get that free combo, but this is only on battle card attack of Son Gohan Childhood, which is cool. But still, it's nice to see something more of a generic, good green leader. Like, one thing green is really lacking is a good generic leader, and this is looking to be a very good one generically. Because you can just awaken at 4 less life, and you got Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and this is a way to help you awaken as well by taking life, which is nice. So this field card is 7 cost. It has 2 permanents. First one being if there is a Son Gohan Childhood under this card, Son Gohan cards in your leader area get 5k power, and because of how its hyphens are on it, when it says Son Gohan, it means the name of the card. So it only gives a 5k boost to your unawakened leader. So once you flip over, you now S a Son Gohan, not just Son Gohan. So you only get that on the front side. And the other permanent is only up to 2 cards to be placed under this card at a given time. So you get 2 uses to this activate main. And the activate main is once per turn. If all your energy is green and this card is in active mode, you may play 1 card from your hand. Well, if all your energy is green and this card is in active mode, you may play one card from under this card. If you do, add up to 2 cards from your hand. So that's quite cool, but then we need to find out and see how you put cards under this Hyperbolic Time Chamber, because you're playing the cards from under this card into your battle area, and if you do, you get to add up to 2 cards from your life. So we need to see in the next few days what the reveals are to show how you can put cards under the lead and what those cards are. So that's quite cool. And then the last 2 cards we got from reveal from today are the Z cards for Gold. I think there's one more Z card, I think, because I think there's a gap between the last Cell Z leader and the Under 16. So there's going to be never Z card, I think, for green. And we've got these 2 being the Z lead for the Gohan deck, and Android 16 being a nice little Fiend Z battle card to go with it if you've ever watched the anime and understand it. So the Z lead is a 20k base that requires 3 Z energy, has double strike as well, and requires 2 energy and your life to be at 3 or less on the green Son Gohan Childhood. And is when your mono green Son Gohan Childhood card attacks. So it could be this, it could be battle card, either one. You may use up to 1 mono green Son Goku with 10k combo power or less from your drop in a combo with its skills to get it for the turn. And if you do, negate this card's skill for the turn. So you get to swing with this leader, this Z leader, or any other Son Gohan Childhood. You get to free combo with a Son Goku that have a 10k power or less to get a free combo to get that Z energy, which is quite cool. So you'll be paying some Z energy to go into this lead. You have that effect. And now you do lose the whole combo during your player's turn, which is quite sad. But you do get an activate main now, which is once per turn. Discard 1 green card from your hand, draw 2 cards. Just discard a green card, draw 2 cards. That is pretty nice. So still a good amount of draw, and this is shaping up to be a very good generic green deck. And you got Android 16 Final Wish. So this is a Z battle card that is 4k power, 1 cost and 1 Z energy cost. It has Deflect and Blocker, and a Z stack 1 as well, where if you and your opponent have a total of 4 more energy, then you get to put underneath it a green Son Gohan Childhood leader, which is quite interesting. It's quite cool that you get to put a Z leader under the Z battle card. And it's got two permanents. First one being if your leader is a Son Gohan Childhood card, this card's skills won't negate. So can't be negated, it just won't negate. This card's skills won't negate. That's just, yeah, the wording on these cards, like, there's gonna be so many erratas. Like we've already seen a few from the reveals already, but The second permanent is if your leader is a SS Sun Gohan, the results of poverty training, which is the awakened side of the leader. And this card would leave your battle area, just leave your battle area. Then you get to place up to one SS2 Sun Gohan trigger to Fierce Rage. From under this card, on top of your leader, add cards from your life to your hand until you have 4 life less, and remove this card from the game instead. So that's pretty cool. So you can trigger this anyway because you also got an auto where when your opponent plays a card or at the end of your opponent's turn, you may KO this card. So you get that option of if your opponent plays something, just KO itself to trigger that. Or you can block with it, or at just end of your opponent's turn, you can just go, okay, I'm going to KO this card. You've got all these options. And it means you don't have to worry about paying that 2 cost for the Z-Awaken to play on top. And you can don't have to worry about going to 3 life, you can go down to 4 life instead or awaken at 6 life with the alternate awakening as well. So that's pretty cool. This looks really interesting. I'm looking forward to the next 3 days of Green reveals to see what else is in this deck. To see just how great it could be. And then looking forward to the SBRs and some of the TPs as well. And some more secrets. But that's all the reveals for today. Then we're going to go on to the Webcam Locals results. So we had week 18. So this is the 16th event, but 16th locals we've had this year. But week 18, because we did have 2 days we skipped. I think one day was I can't remember. 1 week was a different one, and in 1 week was skipped. I can't remember the reason why. But these were the results from this week. So the top 10 we had from this was myself in first place with my Bulma deck. We had Denzel come in with Wish Shenron, like a very interesting deck, a very fun one that managed to go 4-1 in it. Wish Shenron, that is the black starter Wish Shenron from all the way from set 5. Then we have Ollie with Ollie with basically Big O notation, coming in with Expert 21, doing some testing before the event regional we had today. Then we got Tom from Deck Planet, Iratorum, also with the Expert set 21, doing his testing for today. Then we had 5th, and that was all the 4-1s. Then we had some 4-3-2s going to 8th, going Dr. Q8 with his Cumber, Lesmicon with his Golden Freezer, Sea-Duck with his Cooler Mill, and Mr. Frick with his SS4 Gogeta. Then we also have Claire in 9th with her Reboot Trunks going 2-3, and AF Chicken with Satchak going 2-3 as well. Then from 11th to 20th we had Chris the Baron coming in going 2-3 with his Gamma deck. Then we got 7X coming in with his Magic Vegeta going 2-3. And then round at the last 2-3 we had the Legend with his Reboot Gotenks going 2-3 as well. And then we had two people went 1-4, being Johnny Septum with his Golden Freezer, Chana with his Soul Striker, and then we had the last person before the drops being C4 Zeno coming in going 0-5 with his Yellow Kiku, having an unfortunate time. And then we did include the people who did drop because where it starts at 7 PM BST for us to make sure people have time to come in and actually join. Sometimes it does go quite late with the event as well. And we have Juice McGreg's that went 2-2 before dropping with his Yellow Trunks. Ada with their Reboot Raditz going 2-2 drop. Danio going 2-2 drop with his Cumber, and the Calculator going 2-2 drop with his set 2 Vegito. And then from the last 3 we had, because we had 23 people sign up and play, we had Gentleman Jack with his New Enter 21 going 2-1 before dropping in round 3. And then Danny having the drop 1-1 because he had camera issues when it came to our game. And then in round 2, and then EC Apes having to leave going 0-2 drop at set 2 for Geo because I think he had something come up. So that is the result. So it was a fun locals. If you're interested in playing, feel free to join the Discord. Link is in the description below, and you can join it every Friday. We're trying to get them started on Tuesday, just trying to find because I'm not able to consistently run them on the Tuesday. Trying to see if I can get someone to run them for me on the Tuesday, keep them going, because since we've got 2 a week. If not, I'll have to look at one of the other days. It was the second most voted for when I did the vote about what days to hold the second locals, and then potentially put it on that day instead. But that is it for this week. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.